Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to play a game I've already played before. Crimson Chains. And we're gonna try to go for the full game this time. Let's do it. Okay, choose skin color. Your nose wrinkles in disgust as you dip your fingers into the glass veil, distracting the creature inside. You turn its tiny, unsettling eyes away from you, unable to look at it for too long without feeling the urge to gag. You already wish Ito hadn't asked you to handle this, but Ito is busy and can't cursing the other two death-paying wounds nearby, and your methods are much more discreet than his. Your footsteps echo through the abandoned gymnasium as you approach the man bound by your red ropes, a man who's had the misfortune of crossing you during traffic. A single tray of blood trickles down from a cut in his forehead, the result of his futile attempt to resist your control. Now his eyes are glazed over, his body completely dominated by your cursed technique. Open your mouth. The ropes glow faintly in response to your command. He obeys, his jaw slacking as you push the creature into his mouth. His body converses, instinctively trying to reject the intrusion. Swallow it. He compiles, and the transformation begins. You turn away, disgusted. His body consults and raps. To distract yourself, you check your phone for updates. Mito has sent you a blurry picture of the other two incarcerated death wounds. One is grotesque green biped with hollow, blood-dripping eyes and two mouths. The other is almost human in appearance, save for the horrifying face embelled in his back. Psycho freak, I'm done. You glance briefly as a man whirling in the ground, wondering if this one will end up looking just as monstrous. You quickly avert your eyes, deciding it's better not to dwell on the thought. Time passes in a blur until you hear a deep, shuddering breath. You raise from your seat, approaching the now still figure on the floor. A soft gasp escapes your lips. A handsome man lies sprawled in the dark concrete, naked and vulnerable. His skin is pale, almost translucent under the dim light, with only that single cut of his forehead marring his otherwise flawless appearance. His face is delicate, almost serene, completely unlike the other two death-painted wounds that Mito incarcerated. The only thing that betrays his inhuman nature is the dark strip across his nose and cheeks, though it could easily be mistaken for a strange tattoo. You snap a quick picture of his face and send it to Mito. Mine has finished the incarceration process. I'll be at the base soon. Mito's reply is almost instantaneous. Instantaneous. Oh, you got a pretty one. You must be happy. You glance back at the man, watching his eyelids flutter and slowly open, his eyes adjusting to the light. His gaze finds yours, locking onto you with intensity that's unsettling for someone who's been born into a new body. His eyes cold, with dark circles etched beneath them, like them giving him the look of someone who's been deprived of sleep for a long time. Yes, you're definitely happy. Just looking at him makes this job a little more bearable. Hi, you got a human body now. Congratulations. He doesn't seem say anything, but keeps staring at you, his expression unbelievable. Then almost tentatively, he waved his hand, examining them, as if he's unsure if there really is. You stay silent, recalling Gito's advice to stay calm and patient, but after a few more seconds, you can't wait anymore. My boss, Sergio Gito, rescued you and gave you a human body. He hopes that we can cooperate. Where are my brothers? You're taken back by the depth of his voice. It's richer, more resonant than you expected. But his first words asked about his brothers don't surprise you in the least. It's only natural. They've been the only company for each other for years, confined in those glass veils for who knows how long. We managed to rescue the two of your brothers. They also received human bodies and are waiting for you at our base. You'll see them soon. You set the bag down in front of him, unzipping it and revealing a neatly folded set of clothes. Here's some clothes. Pick whatever you like. Since you got a human body, look human now, you need to wear these so other people don't freak out. They also keep you warm. Put them on, and then we can go see your brothers. He hesitates, his gaze lingering on the clothes for what feels like an eternity, and you can't feel your patience falling at the edges. Finally, he reaches out and grabs them and you turn your back, giving him a resemblance of privacy. After a few moments, his voice, softer this time, reaches your ears. I'm done. You glance back and see him fully dressed. His thin trail of blood that's started to trickle down from the cut in his head, tracing the path down to his forehead. That won't do. You can't present him to Guido looking like that. This will reflect poorly on you. You sigh, rubbing the bag for some gauze, then step towards him. He tenses, eyes narrowing as you approach. What are you doing? You stop and raise your hand, the gauze visible in one, trying to appear as non-frying as possible. You're injured. I'm going to help you, okay? He studies you for a moment, then gives you a small, reluctant nod. You close the distance and begin tending to the wound, gently pressing the gauze against the cut until the bleeding subsides. Up close, you could see the fine details of his features, his eyes dark and watchful. Never leave your face. Do you have a name? He hesitates, his voice faltering slightly, as if he's still getting used to using it. Choso. Nice to meet you, Choso. You step back, surveying your handiwork. The bleeding has stopped, and he looks a little less like he just crawled out of a horror movie. Much better. Alright, let's get out of here, shall we? He opened the door for Choso and watched as he stepped outside, his movements tentative, like a newborn testing its legs. His wide eyes take in everything, darting from one sight to another with a mix of curiosity and awe. He's probably retained some muscle memory from the body he's walking, breathing as naturally as he's done it all his life. He can't help but wonder how much of this world he understands for the remnants of the body previous life. You hope it's enough so you don't have to explain every little detail to him. As John bleeds, stirs his long hair, and he closes his eyes, savoring the sensation. It's like watching a prisoner step into the light after years of darkness. But there's something more. to it kind of wonder what's almost childlike, untainted by the harsh realities of the world. It's strangely beautiful, witnessing his first moments in the human body, the way he seems to soak in every little sensation. I just love this game. I love their games. If only he knew the pain that comes with being human, well, half human, but he'll learn soon enough. A dull ache settles in his stomach, a bitter pain they can't quite ignore. With the weight of these thoughts pressing down on you, you walk over to the car and open the door for him. Come on, again. Suddenly, a gust of wind scatters a bunch of fires across the ground and then lands on your feet. A man rushes over. A human man. His face etched with panic. Grab the flyers. You lean down, collecting a few of the scattered flyers. These advertisements for a summer festival happening in a few weeks, with the proceeds going to the charity for disabled people. He reaches you, out of breath. Thank you. You give him a cold stare before handing the flyers back without a word, already turning to leave. Wait, please visit us at the festival. No. Your voice is sharp. Fine. Without another glance, you get into the car and start away quickly. You never understand why people put on these charades, pretending to care for others when they clearly don't. You know, reality, there's people who do care. Some people don't, are faking it, but some do care. Non-sorcerers, especially, are defined by their cruelty and violence beyond redemption. Choso gazes at the window, memorized by the blur of passing scenery. The colors are vibrant, so alive, unlike the perpetual darkness he had grown accustomed to. Everything feels new, yet oddly familiar at the same time. He isn't sure why. Perhaps these sensations come with the body memories implanted in the flesh. It must be why he knows he's inside a car, why the words of the sign makes sense to him without any conscious effort. He shifts his gaze to the woman driving. She's the first human he's seeing in what feels like an eternity, and something within this body stirs wherever he's looking at her, a sensation he can't quite place, an unexpected pull that draws his attention to her again and again. The body offers no explanation for this strange feeling. Maybe it's because her face was the first thing he saw when he opened his eyes. He implanted on me. She looked like he searches his mind for a word but comes empty. What is it? Huh? You're staring. Is that bad? The body offers him no explanation. Seems like it won't help him with everything. She's silent for a moment, her expression unreadable. Then she mutters, almost to herself. So you don't know everything. Great. She glances at him, her eyes briefly meeting his. Some humans consider staring at someone else rude, especially if they do it to strangers. Oh, how strange. Staring seems like such a harmless thing. The car makes a turn, and they enter the bustling area. Choso's eyes widen as he takes in the throngs of people moving through the city center. It's overwhelming, so much activity, so many people. She glances outside, her face is impassive as before, as if this chaotic scene is nothing out of the ordinary for her. So then her expression darkens, a shadow passing over her features. A piece of advice: don't get too close to them. Humans will mock and even hurt you if you behave or look different from them. And yeah, they do. Humans are monsters. Choso shifts his attention back at the people outside. Some are laughing, chatting, their faces with smiles. They seem harmless, even joyful. But there's a nagging feeling in the back of his mind, something instinctful, warning him that's not as simple as it appears. Why? It's just how they are, cruel for no reason. There's something unsaid, a war of meaning he cannot quite grasp. She doesn't seem very fond of other humans. Yeah, humans can be monsters. He feels like a truth she's withholding, something deeper that he isn't yet meant to understand. But there's also a sense that pressing the matter would be unwise, so he remains silent, absorbing her words and the complex world outside the window. You arrive in Gito's current base. It's an unassuming place, designed to blend in, just like all the others. The location's always changing, a precaution to avoid drawing too much attention. You only gather when necessary, when something important is at stake. Follow me. We Choso through the entrance, pushing open the door to reveal a dimly lit room with a bar at the far end. At the core, his brothers linger, their twisted forms even more grotesque in person than you imagined. You can't help but wonder how Choso ended up looking so different from them. Oh, the brother! Choso freezes in the doorway, his shock evident. The raw emotion on his face is impossible to miss. His eyes widen, taking in their forms a mix of disbelief and something softer. In recognition, perhaps despite the monstrous appearances. They rush and embrace each other. Choso, your hair's falling over your face. Izo, help him. Izo, the more human looking of the two, swiftly produces a pair of elastic bands and, with precise ease, pulls Choso's hair into two pigtails. Much better now. You watch them in a distance, leaning against the doorway with a strange family. Their story, from what you heard, is a tragic one. You pity their poor mother. Here they are, smiling, caring for each other, like they're any other family. Even half curses, it seems, can be kinder than most humans. The door opens with Guido approaching, with his usual entourage. Joe, Hamri, and Mayoto trailing behind him like shadows. You bow your head as he draws near. You did well. Perhaps to prepare the board game while I talk with them. It won't take long. Yes, sir. He approaches the brothers with a kind smile. I'm glad you can join us, Choso. I'm sure you must be confused. I'm going to explain everything. Gizo gestures for the brothers to follow him to a nearby room. Over here, please. Izo and Kinzu immediately follow, but Choso hesitates, his glaze lingering on you. His hair, now tied up in those awkward pigtails, distracts you even more than it should. There's something almost endearing with the way it softens his face. Do you think humans could accept my brothers? His question catches you off guard. You follow his gaze to where his brothers just disappeared. Memories of your own childhood flash before you of being bullied for your ability to see curses, being different. One of the brothers, Shinzo, peeks back out from the room, his hollow, blood-dripping eyes unsettling even for you, someone who's spent their entire life surrounded by curses. Choso, are you coming? You know the answer, Choso speaking, and the truth is as bitter as it is simple. No, they'll never be accepted. Choso nods slowly, the weight of your words settling on him. Without another word, he turns and follows his brothers into the room, leaving you alone with your thoughts. You lay out the board game with on a low table, metaphorically setting the pieces in place while Guido works his magic, convincing Choso and his bears to join the cause. You remember when Guido did the same for you, he didn't have to try hard. Your whole life had been one long stretch of isolated bullying, relentlessly foreseeing curses, abandoned by your family, while everyone else turned a blind eye. Gita's words were everything you needed to hear. A lifeline. A world where Jujutsu sorcerers don't have to hide anymore. A world where you're determined to help create. The door clicks and clicks shut behind you as Guido exits the room. His usual calm smile is in place. That unwavering confidence, the way he always seems in control, that reassures you. You did it. How did it go? They join us. They're discussing it among themselves, but their decision is clear. He walks closer, his smile softened just slightly as he leans in, his voice dropping in a tone only you can hear. As I expected, they're expandable. All three of them? Yes. A pan of disappointment tugs at you. It's a shame, really. The older one holds more value. Miyato mentioned he's your type. Your thoughts drift back to Choso, and the hum of appreciation vibrates through your mind. He's not booked up bad to look at. Guido's smile broadens, his glint of amusement in his eyes. If what we expect to happen tonight, you know what to do. You may toy with him if you wish, but assure he doesn't do anything rash before the date. And make sure he trains properly. I can't afford to have him die too quickly. Yes, sir. As Guido moves away, you can't help but feel a surge of aberration. The seal of Gojo Sartoro is only 2 months away. The thoughts of finally transforming this world, of stepping out of the shadows and into the light, fills you with thrill you haven't felt in years. It's like, no, Gojo. The future you long for is almost within reach, and the anticipation is intoxicating. Not long after, Choso and his bears emerge from the room. Your eyes meet Choso's for just a brief moment before he turns his attention to Guido. We'll join you. Wonderful. As Miyato mentioned, we need 2 people to retrieve Shukuna's finger for us. Uzo, Kinzu, how about you? They nod before Choso can say anything. Ito continues, his smile tingled with understanding. Choso, there's something else I need your help with. Choso wavers for a moment, conflicted, evident in his gaze, but then he nods. You silently observe as the birds bid each other farewell, not realizing that this might be their last goodbye. Don't worry, we'll take good care of each other. See you soon, big brother. Take care, be safe. Their emotions, their bond, there's more to them than average curse, more depth and more complexity. A pang of unease tugs at you as you watch them leave. A small voice in the back of your mind whispering doubts, but you push it aside. This is an important cause, and cause like this one demand sacrifices. After Izo and Kinzo leave, you, Guido, Minato, and Choso gather around the little table where you already laid out the board game life. Guido explains the roles with his usual patience, and Choso quickly grasps the game's mechanics, his sharp mind easily adapting. As the game begins, Gito's curiosity surfaces, his questions subtly probing at Choso's memories of his time inside the glass container. You seem to have a solid grasp of your curse technique, despite being confined for so long. I had 150 years to analyze it. Minato lets out an impatient huff, more interested in the game than the conversation. Come on, Choso. It says you need to donate to the Art Institute. Pay up. Choso sighs, his brow knitting in the mind of frustration as he places the money down. The human world is too complicated. Cast being annoying. It might seem that way at first, but there's that way. That's why you two will be partners from now on. Ito gestures between you and Choso. His smile as kind and reassuring as always. You nod, adding a playful link to Choso's direction. I'll be your guide. I have no interest in humans. Minato snickers, his grin widening with mischief in his look as he looks at you. Yikes, good luck getting into his... You cut him off with a swift kick under the table, causing him to hiss in pain and shoot you in Immerse glare. Hey, can you two stop? Please stop. Gito's voice is calm, and there's an edge to it, a subtle fret woven into the gentleness of his words. Mito huffs, crossing his arms and looking away, while you offer a slight, unapologetic smirk before refocusing on the game. The game of life continues, the atmosphere gradually lightening as you, Gito, and Minato engage in a casual conversation. Choso remains mostly silent, observing more than participating, his thoughts clearly wandering elsewhere. But then Choso's hand freezes mid-movement, just as he's about to advance his piece on the board game. The sudden stillness is palpable, and you immediately sense that something's wrong. What's the matter, Choso? Oh, they're gonna find out he found out his brothers. Mito obviously continues his chatter, unfazed by the change of atmosphere, but you can see it. The tension in the Choso's posture, the slight tremor in his hand. In a shift, almost violent motion, Choso snaps his car piece in half, causing Minato to yelp in protest. Hey, don't break the pieces! My younger brothers died. The words hit you like a punch to the gut already. You glance at Gito, who seemed more curious than concerned, his expression betraying no surprise. You could tell what's going on. It's one thing if he could fully manifest, but I find it hard to believe that those two were killed by a single finger of a cursed spirit. Wow. Choso's voice is steady, but his eyes, they're burning with something dark, terrible. Despair, rage, grief. It's all there, swirling just underneath the surface. Mito, meanwhile, is still muttering about the broken game piece. He's irritated, almost laughable, trivial in comparison. Yeah, so we're talking about someone's dead. 2 people died. Sir, do you want me to go check? Mito's phone beeps, and he glances at the screen. His expression remained calm, unbothered. No need. We just saved a report. He woke up, meeting Choso's graze. Izo and Shinzo were killed by the first years of Jujutsu High. Adori Ryuji and his group. Ryuji, my boy. You watch as the news sink in, as Choso's eyes harden with a cold, simmering hatred. I have to say he's my boy. I think since I played this last, I have now two gamer subs for Jujutsu Kaisen. One Gojo, one Ryuji, and I have the gamer sub G Fuel cup with Ruji and Shukuna. You watch as the news sink in as Choso's eyes widen with a cold, simmering hatred. In the moment, you can see it's clearly his new purpose, the fire that will drive him forward. Sorry, you're gonna hurt my boy. I adopt him. Across the table, Manto's grin stretches wide, and magical gleam in his eyes. Now, Choso still will definitely be committed to the plan, but for some reason, you can't bring yourself to smile. You walk into the bar, carefully caught a steaming cup of ramen in your hands. The room is quiet, almost oppressively so. Choso went to the scene of the fight to oversee the disposal of the bodies, only to return to take the same seat at the table, unmoving and silent. The weight of the bar's depths, hands heavily in the air, pressing down on him like a shroud. You need to begin your part of the plan, and that entails making Choso comfortable enough around you. He suggested flirting, but he didn't need much convincing. He approached Choso and placed the cup of ramen in front of him, settling the chopsticks neatly beside it. The steam rises in lazy swirls, drifting up towards the ceiling, but Choso looks at you, expression confused, his eyes hollow more than before. For human bodies to operate at their best, they need a few things. He holds up your hand, taking off each item on your fingers. Food, water, sleep, exercise, and sunlight. If any of those are unbalanced, it might make you feel like crap. Why are you telling me this? You sit next to him. Lean closer and watch as his eyes follow your frame. Because if you want to avenge your brothers, you need to remember that. You might not want to be human or behave like one, and that's fine. But you have a human body now. So you need to take care of it if you want to accomplish your goals. The truth is, you don't really care about his goals as long as they align with Guido's plan. Choso stares at the cup of ramen. His stomach growls audibly, and a laugh slips out before you can stop it. Why are you laughing? You shrug, trying to suppress your grin. I don't know. I just thought it was funny. The small tone. You look at him like he's some. He looks at you like you're some strange creature he can't help figure out, but then shakes his head. You grab the chopsticks, fumbling with them awkwardly before finally managing to lift a noodle to his mouth. As he chews, his eyes widen slightly. This is the first time eating like a human body in a human body. Must be an intense experience. You watch him fascinated. He walked like a newborn eating. He catches your staring. His expression returned to its usual monetary. Didn't you say staring was rude? The corners of your lips smirk. Lips click up in a playful smile. Touché. You hold his gaze deliberately, teasing him with your eyes. His cheeks widen, and he quickly looks down at the ramen as if it's the most interesting thing in the world. You smile widens, and he flusters so easily. Toying with him is going to be fun. You slightly tap his arm. Eat up. When you're done, we're going to take care of another basic human need. Leaning in slightly, your voice dripping to a whisper. Sleep. The woman leads him to a building, then up an elevator to a spacious room. His mind supplies the word apartment. The space is open, with the kitchen bleeding seamlessly into the living area. A large window frames the bustling city outside, its noise muffled, but ever present. It's not big, but it should be enough for the two of us. He considers telling her that it's far bigger than the glass enclosure that he was trapped in for so long, but he keeps the thought to himself. He's like, yeah, this is an upgrade. he's still trying to figure out what might make her laugh at him again. These human nuisances are too complicated, too unpredictable. She guides him through the apartment with the air of someone trying to sell a new home. He trails behind her, silent, absorbing her words, but not fully comprehending their significance. There are vague impressions, fleeting memories borrowed from this body that hint at how some things work, but most of it remains cloaked in shadow. They enter a small room with 2 beds positioned near each other. You sleep on one, then I'll sleep here. You sleep on that one, I'll sleep here. Follow me. For now. Just for now. Every time she uses that low tone, his face warms up uncontrollably, even though he doesn't fully understand what she means. It bars him that he can't control the body's reactions. As he wrestles through this frustration, he realizes she's showing him something else. I got retarded. That's most bodies in a nutshell, though. And here are some basic hygiene products and a towel. Do you know how to take a shower? Yes. The lie slips out before he can stop it. He has only the faintest idea of what a shower entails. A distinct, foggy recollection that doesn't quite reach the surface. But he doesn't want her help. He just pawns a pawn in her boss's plan. He's determined not to form any deeper connections with them. She eyes him with a suspicion, and something stirs within him, an emotion he can't name or understand. It's one more thing to add to the growing list of inaccessible feelings, indescribable feelings he's having plagued him since gaining this body. She hands him a towel and soap, then turns towards another room. Come with me. Choso follows, uncertain why he obeys her so easily. He could retreat to the company of other curses where he belongs. Yet for some reason, the bed in the other room had seemed oddly inviting, almost as if it were calling to his tired body. Maybe he'll stay just for tonight, then leave tomorrow. He told Gito that he prefers to be with other curses because that's what he is, no matter how human you may look. The woman fiddles with the handle, and the water begins to pour out. She explains how to adjust it for warm water. Again, it's all seems unnecessarily complicated to him. Why not just use water as it is? And why does he even need a shower? His voice is the question out loud. My sense of smell is pretty sharp. And since we're sleeping near each other, do me a favor and take a shower, will you? She then walks him through the basic removing clothes, using soap, shampoo, conditioner. It's all very straightforward, but as she talks, he feels his face heating up again. Why does this keep happening? I know that already. Alright, just making sure. If you need help, let me know. His face flips yet again for what feels like the 100th time today. He doesn't understand how she manages to elect such strong reactions from this body so effortlessly. She smiles and leaves, closing the door behind her, and he was left alone. He strips off his clothes and catches a glimpse of himself in the mirror. He's fletching, stares back. Undeniably human appearance. Even the strip of his nose could pass as something natural, something that might belong in the world, but his brothers had never had that luxury. How could he have lost so quickly? He should have gone with them to retrieve Sakura's finger. Now all they could do is revenge their deaths. Indori and his friends will pay for what they've done. With a sigh, he steps under the steam of water. The moment it touches his skin, his eyes widen in surprise. The sensation is pleasant. Far more pleasant than anything he has ever experienced. Why had the woman mentioned how good this would feel? Choso spends an unusually long time in the bathroom. Just as you start to wonder if he slipped and cracked his head open, the door swings open, releasing a thick cloud of steam. You barely have time to react before Choso steps out, completely naked. Instinctively, you look away, but your eyes cannot help but dart back for another peek. Choso, where are your clothes? You can't walk around naked. Why not? Is this body shameful? Despite your better judgment, your gaze betrays you, lingering on him more than you should. Yeah, his face. I'll just go for the face. You hadn't realized before how defined his muscles were, each one standing out with a precision that almost distracting. That's not it. It's just a human thing. The only people who were supposed to see you naked are those you're intimate with. Intimate? You hummed thoughtfully, carefully inspecting your nails, as this conversation is nothing out of the ordinary. Intimate means someone you share special moments with, someone you can get really close enough to touch, close enough to feel everything. You glance up and catch the moment his expression shifts, his composure faltering as he flinches and smiles hard. But if you want, before you can say anything else, Choso hastily retreats back in the bathroom, his footsteps almost stumbling into his rush. You chuckle quietly to yourself. This is too easy. Despite the heat creeping into your own cheeks, you brush it aside. This is just a game, after all. There's no way it'll affect your beyond simple amusement. After what feels like forever and several rounds of explaining human social norms to him, you finally settle down on your bed. Tomorrow you begin training to master your curse technique. In this body, it won't be long before you can avenge your brothers. He hummed softly, staring up at the ceiling, seemingly lost in thought. Should feel strange lying so close to a man you barely know. But after years of working with curses, even sleeping in the same vicinity as them, and staying alert to avoid getting killed, this is surprisingly easily. Good night, Choso. You close your eyes, ready to drift off, but you can still feel his gaze on you. It's like a tangible weight pressing on your awareness. He probably thinks it's fine to watch you as long as you don't notice. I know you're staring. You crack one eye open, just enough to catch the sight of his wide eyes, a faint blush coloring his cheeks. Embarrassed, he quickly turns his back to you. A small smirk tugs at the corner of your mouth as you close your eyes again, the room finally settling into a comfortable silence. Where can I train? Where can I train? Those are the first words out of Choso's mouth when he wakes up the next morning. From the moment on, a session takes hold of him, an all-consuming drive to master his curse technique and learn to fight in this new body. Nothing else seems to matter. You take him to the abandoned gymnasium where his transformation took place and let him train to his heart's content while you quietly work on your laptop nearby. Days blur together, each one a mirror of the last. Teasing him has become your daily source of amusement, a little game to see what will make him blush next. He remains distant and cold, his focus always elsewhere, but you don't mind. He's already fulfilling Eat those wishes, which frees you to concentrate on the preparations for the sealing. Each day leads to the same, where Choso finally exhausts himself. The two of you return to your apartment. There, he sits on the sofa, staring blankly at the window, as if lost in a world of his own. His only request is a cup of noodles. You don't argue, it's cheap, and he doesn't seem to care about anything else. This routine continues for a week, with you focusing on your own task while he grapples with his grief in the only way he knows how. Then one morning, he can barely get out of bed. He stumbles into the living room and drops down on the sofa, groaning. What's happening? You pushed your body too far. Sweetheart, Shookums. I'm just gonna go, sweetheart. His cheeks flare up in the beautiful red, spreading like wildfire across his face. He quickly averts his gaze, and you can't help but smirk that form of your smirk that forms on your lips. He shakes his head lightly, as if trying to focus. Why didn't you tell me this could happen? He didn't ask. He falls silent, processing your words. When he tries to move, he hisses pain escapes him. I promise I can speak. What do I do? Just relax. Since you're half cursed, you should recover quickly. You got a glance at him, noticing how pitiful he looks, slumped on the sofa. With a sigh, you head to the bathroom and return with some olive patches. Where does it hurt? He indicates his back, and you instruct him to take off his shirt. Sitting down beside him, you begin applying the patches, your fingers gazing at his skin as you work. His back is strong, the muscles taut and defined. You see him shirtless before, but up close, the details stand out in a way they haven't anticipated. The warmth of his skin beneath your fingertips feels even better than you imagined. Almost instinctively, your fingers trace the shape of his triceps, sending a shiver through him. He pulls away slightly, his face flushed a deep red. I was making him blush all over. It tickles. You smile softly. This feels different from your usual teasing. His reaction stirs something in you, something that tugs at your heart in a way you haven't expected. Realizing what's happening, you clear your throat, pushing the distracting thoughts away. It's done. You should feel better soon. He nods and quickly moves away, putting distance between you. We usually say thank you when someone does something for us. He stops, turns back to you, his eyes as lifeless as ever. Thank you. His voice is low, void of emotion or gratitude. You clear your head slightly, but let it go. He returns to the sofa, resuming his habit of staring out the window. It's become a routine, a ritual that mirrors how he must have stared at nothingness when confined in that glass veil. He used to let him do it whenever, without concern, but now the sight unnerves you. There's something too hollow, too empty about the way he does it. You hand him a tablet. Here, watch something. I don't want to warn about humans. You can learn new fighting techniques from this look. You cue up a martial arts video, holding it in front of him. Respectfully, he shifts his gaze to the screen slowly as the video plays, his eyes brighten, the spark of interest rekindling. For now, it's enough to pull him out of his trance. Offer him something new to focus on. Choso doesn't want to learn about humans. After all, he's a curse, and humans are supposed to be beneath his concern. But when the martial arts video ends and other videos start playing, he couldn't look away. Some views show beautiful places that stir something deep within him. Others make him want to laugh in spite of himself. And there's some with music that seems to smooth the hollow H in his chest. Certain songs pull at him with a strange urgency, compelling him to listen to repeat until the lyrics implant themselves in his mind. That never could happen to me. I just can't remember lyrics. The whirlwind of emotion these videos unleash often leave him exhausted, but it's better than being trapped in his own head all the time. Days pass, and he finds himself glued to the screen, watching video after video. With each one, he feels as though he's slowly unraveling the mystery of the woman's behavior. Her actions seem less strange, her quirks less baffling. He learns that when she uses that low tone of voice, she's flirting with him, something humans do when they're bored, trying to get something, or interested in being intimate. He's certain it's not the last one. After all, he's just a curse. She's probably just bored. Still, he figures it's important to understand her, especially since she's never leaves him alone. He expects it's on Gita's orders. A way to keep him from going after Atadori. But oddly enough, he doesn't. It's Itadori. Promise, I love this show, but I'm literally wearing emoji glasses from Jin's. But oddly enough, he doesn't really mind her presence, even though even with the constant flirting. According to some of the videos, they're roommates. For some reason, humans find those words amusing. They can't quite grasp why. He still longs to live amongst our curses, where he truly belongs. But as his roommate pointed out, and as he confirmed firsthand, this body needs a rest to function properly. And for now, this place is good for that. He's watching a cat video when a new scent waves through the air, making his stomach rumble in response. The smell is warm and fine. She's cooking. He hasn't been interested in trying her food before, but now he can't ignore the pull it has on him. He wanders over to the kitchen, suddenly observing the way she chops and mixes the ingredients with practiced ease. She doesn't acknowledge him for a long time, and then she speaks. Do you want to try some? Can I? Of course. She holds up a piece of chopped food near his mouth, waiting patiently. Choso hesitates, then leans forward and taking the food from her fingers. The taste is surprisingly pleasant, and she seems pleased by his reaction. It quickly looks away, feeling his cheeks heat up. He still can't get used to her. Can you help me make the rest? I don't know how. I'll show you. She guides him through each step, her voice calm and steady. He follows her instructions, and the simple act of cooking together brings a sense of peace he hasn't expected. He knows that she seems pleased with his efforts, which in turn makes him feel lighter somehow. He doesn't fully understand why her approval matters to him, but it does. Maybe it's just another human thing. His hands brush against his, and his stomach flips again. His tisk internally, frustrated by his body's uncontrollable reactions. He doesn't mind her touch, but he wishes he could control his response better. Even all the training hasn't helped with that. As he works, she begins to hum in a familiar tone, one that sends a flicker of recognition for him. That song. You know it? Yeah, I played it while I was watching fighting videos. She hums softly, as not entirely convinced. What other songs do you know? Oh, A small urge of happiness wells up inside him, and he hurries to grab the tablet. Here, I really like this one, and this one. Oh, this one as well. She leans in closer to see, and his heart skips a beat, the sensation catching him off guard again. Nice. Why don't you make a playlist? A what? She smiles and shows him how to do it, her fingers moving draftily across the screen as she explains. She's so close that he could feel her warmth, and his heart pounds even harder, almost painfully. There you go. Now you just add the songs you like. He stares at the screen as the words Choso's playlist display at the top. It's such a simple thing, but saying his name there fills him with warmth that spreads from his chest to every part of his body. For the first time, he feels like he has a personality, something more than being a curse. As she finishes cooking, he continues to add songs to the playlist, carefully choosing each one. He wonders if she'll like the others. As they finally sit down to eat the meal they prepared together, he takes a bite and closes his eyes, savoring the taste. A soft sound, contemplated, escapes his lips. He hasn't known something as simple as eating could feel this good. His roommate watches him with a small smile, one that isn't mocking or teasing. There's something different in her expression, something that stirs a new feeling in him. He finds himself wanting her to keep looking at him like that, as her gaze is becoming essential to him, as food, sleep, or warm showers. Maybe if he watches more videos, especially those about cooking, she'll give him more of those looks. Maybe, just maybe, you'll understand why it matters so much. Just try it. If you don't like it, you can throw it away in the trash. Choso's eyes the ice cream cone with suspicion. His brows furrowed as he is trying to solve a complex puzzle. Like, what's this cool treat? After training, he stopped at a quaint little ice cream shop near the apartment, an old-fashioned place run by an elderly lady, with only a handful of customers coming and going. He dips a small spoon into the ice cream and hesitating takes a bite. The transformation is immediate. His eyes light up with surprise and delight, and before you know it, he's devouring the ice cream with an almost childlike favor that makes you smile despite yourself. Cute. Yup. I can just picture it. It's not a word you ever expected to associate with him, but it keeps surfacing every time he does something like this. There's a gentleness to him, a quaint humanity in his actions that are more endearing than a curse-like, though he never tell him that. Especially when he's proving to be more human than most. He closes his eyes, savoring the favor, as if it's the most incredible thing he's ever tasted. You shake your head lightly, glancing around the street. A few passerbyers cast curious glances at him, but no one lingers. As you watch him enjoy the simple pleasure of ice cream, your mind drifts back to Yito's words, how Choso is expandable. Conflicting emotions stir within you. You know it's for the plan, for the greater cause, but the thought of him dying leaves a bitter taste in your mouth. You can't change the plan, but perhaps you can at least show him how good life can be before his inevitable end. See, I told you it's good. Try mine. You offer him a spoonful of your own ice cream, and he leans in, his face suddenly very close to yours. Your heart skips a beat, and unbidden thoughts of kissing him flesh through your mind. You're intensified, you're flirting, but he still doesn't seem to grasp the hints. You wonder if he ever will. Is there more? You already finished yours? Yes. A soft chuckle draws your attention. The old lady behind the counter is watching the two of you with a warm, knowing smile. Your boyfriend sure loves ice cream. You two have another serving on the house. You don't usually accept anything from non-sorcerers, preferring to keep to your distance, but there's something about her that makes you hesitant. We don't want... Please. It's make me happy. Accept. Puzzled, you accept her offer. Still wary of her motivation, she grins, her face tickling with the kind of genuine warmth you rarely see. You and Choso choose new flavors, and the lady gives you both a generous serving. You can't help but wonder why she's being so kind. Maybe the ice cream is about to go bad. She needs to get rid of it. Nah, she thinks you have your boyfriend and girlfriend. As you eat, you notice the lady's eyes linger on you. You're not in the mood to small talk, so you ignore her, focusing instead on the cold treat in your hand. Why did she give us free ice cream? Is that a thing? The lady overhears and chuckles softly, her voice carrying a hint of nostalgia. You should remind me of my late husband. He loved ice cream and would close his eyes in bliss every time he ate it. The flavor you chose was his favorite. She pauses, her gaze distant for a moment before refocusing on you. I hope you two have a nice and long life. Her words, laced with genuine kindness, stir something uneasy within you, a tightness in your chest they can't quite shake. You offer a small, almost hesitant nod of acknowledgement, then return and walk out of the store, the warmth of her blessing lingering uncomfortably in the back of your mind. She didn't seem friendly. Don't be fooled, appearances can be deceiving. Do you think she'll treat us badly if you knew what we were? Yes. But the truth is, you don't know for sure, and that uncertainty glowed at you. You learn not to take chances with humans, and you're not about to start now. Why didn't you correct her when she said I was your boyfriend? It was too much work. Does that bother you? I don't care. You lean closer, your eyes dropping with a teasing tone as you flutter your eyelashes at him. Do you mean I could call you my boyfriend from now on? No. You put a hand dramatically over your chest, fraying hurt. Ouch. You walk a few steps in silence, the playful banter hanging there until the thought strikes you. Wait, do you even know what a boyfriend does? He looks away, telltale sign that he doesn't, and you can't help but chuckle. You know he'll look it up as soon as you get back to the apartment. And then he finds your boyfriend. So does this mean? No, totally not. Your boyfriend. He's just watching this like, yeah, totally. Not what you're supposed to do. Red flags. A few days pass. You find yourself within Choso's trains. The heat still oppressive, though not as brutal as it was at the start of summer. You come prepared, bringing along a small electrical fan to battle out the warmth. It almost feels like you're set up a makeshift office. Your laptop out, a mattress on the counter for quick naps. This abandoned gym has become a second home of sorts. It was hot. You're concussioning. Imagine Choso's soft lips against yours. His long hair brushing against your skin as your bodies are orange. Bodies are hugged. You're hugged. Can you spar with me? You slowly lift your gaze from the laptop, reveling broken. I can only improve with a partner. You can't help but wonder if you picked that up from one of the fighting videos. It wouldn't be surprising you. He improved slightly since starting watching those, both as a fighter and as a person. He talks to you more now, shares new songs, and he adds to his playlist. It's almost like living in one of those slice of life movies, something you never experienced before. There's the odd sense that in his own way, he's teaching you about human experiences, and you're not quite sure how to handle the emotions that follow. You don't want this to end, but you know it's inevitable. Alright, let's spar. You grab your ropes, laying them snake around your forearms and wrists like a royal companion. As you prepare, you notice the way Choso tenses, his focus sharpening. You observe his training enough to know he's the cursed technique, giving you an edge he doesn't yet have. What will you give me if I win? He elopes at scattering debris, launching the objects towards him. He counters with a piercing blood, shattering the projectiles with practice ease. I have nothing to give you. That's not true. You click and move, closing the distance between you as you exchange blows. He blocks your attacks with skill, but he managed to get close enough to whisper in his ear. How about a kiss? He spars almost back as if your words burned him. Yeah, it's like, well, Earth and Wind, I already know it, but can you please focus? Oh, I'm not the one who needs to focus, sweetheart. You shrug nonchalantly, drawing his attention to your bare arms. His eyes widen in realization, just as the ropes begin to coil around his leg. He shoots blood at them in desperate attempt to break free, but he's too distracted. He used the opportunity to bind his arms, and as a first knot forms, deactivate your technique. Blinding whisper. The ropes pulse with a soft glow as your technique takes hold. Choso, relax, Choso, you're tired. And I will have to edit that part out just because it does look like a certain thing for act. So you hear your gasp as your voice echoes softly in his mind. He tries to use his blood to coat his skin, attempting to destroy the ropes, but it's too late. You're already moving, creating more knots. With each one, your control over his mind dipping. Satisfied, you release him. The ropes unwind, recoiling to your arm like a being serpent. I will hopefully make a Patreon only version, but I don't know. You watch as Choso slowly pushes himself up from the ground. His skin is marked with rope burns. The red lines crisscrossing his body. They look good on him, too good. Does it hurt? No. His voice wavers, and you can tell he's still feeling the effects of your mind control. A pair of guilt tugs at you. Perhaps you went too far, too fast. To make amends, you pull out some ointment from your bag and hold it out to him. Here, for the bruises. The bruises? He glances down at his body, noticing the marks for the first time. His face flushed in a deep red. Oh. Help. Do you want help? He hesitates, then gives a small, redolent nod, and you brush him, dipping your fingers into the balm and gently applying it to the skin. You trace the ropes, marks with deliberate care, your touch lingering just long enough to make him shiver, his eyes locked on yours, a mixture of confusion and something else in his gaze. When your eyes meet, he inhales sharply, before quickly looking away, his cheeks burning. What is it? Why do you keep doing this? Doing what? Caring for me. You break momentary off guard. You're not caring for him. You're just ensuring he stays in good shape. So the plan works perfectly, that's all. No, I'm caring for him. You cut the thoughts off before they can spiral any further and offer him a smile. I just like doing it. His face flushed deeper, but he shakes his head as if he doesn't quite believe you. Then after a moment, He adds softly, "Thank you." An intense warmth spreads across you, through you. The need to touch him, to bring him closer, nearly overwhelming. It feels like it could swallow you whole. A sigh, running a hand over your face. Toying with him was entertaining at first, but now the craving you failing is anything but. To distract yourself, you turn your attention to the ropes, running your fingers over them and noticing they're starting to look brittle. That can't happen, especially if you're going to keep training with Choso. Alright, I need to buy some oil for my ropes. Let's go. Where are we going? You'll see. She joins him a few months later, and they start walking back to the apartment. He keeps his eyes locked straight ahead, desperate, trying to move the thoughts aside, replaying the puppy videos he saw earlier in his mind. I don't think you'll get this frustrated by the store. I didn't. Sure. He walked back to step in tension. Her gaze only added to the heat simmering beneath his skin. Back in the apartment, she curses under her breath, realizing she forgot to buy groceries. She asks if he wants to come with her, but he shakes his head, declining. There's a flicker of hesitation in her eyes, and he knows exactly why. I'm not going after Itadori before the plan. That's why Guido told you to be my partner, right? His eyes widen in surprise. She hasn't expected him to be aware of that, but he's known for a long time. Go, I'll stay here, I promise. The world promise makes her face lax. He learned its weight from a video, and now it seems to ease human minds, blinking with a sense of trust. It works like a charm, and she nods, leaving him alone in the apartment. What do you mean you don't want to train together anymore? We're trained enough, I'm ready. You narrow your eyes at him, suspicion curled in your gut. We trained together once. I know, but it was enough. Did I hurt you that bad? You know, Itadori's going to be even worse, right? That kid's punches pack a real punch. He's just doing One Punch Man style because he's super straight. It's okay, I could handle him. Is it because of the ropes? No. Hesitant denial only deepens your suspicion. Look, I know some positions can be embarrassing, but you look good. It's not because of that. Your eyes narrow, as you take in the flush of his cheeks. He's hiding something, and you're determined to figure out what it is. Is it making him this flushed? It must be something juicy. Found out what it looks like, that's what his issue was. And there's no way you're letting him off the hook, not when he still hasn't been able to beat you. Gito wouldn't be pleased if he stopped the training before Choso's ready. Plus, you want him to stay alive for longer at least. Alright, we could stop. He showed a slump in the leaf, but you're not done. If you can defeat me. His eyes widen, panic flaring in them. Your embarrassment more important than avenging your brothers. His expression hardens, the embarrassment fading into the determination. He takes a deep breath. Okay, let's do it. You grip your ropes, feeling the familiar weight of them curl around your arms. Choso's ready, blushing before he even close. Are you ready? His gaze flickers to the ropes, but at your wrist, then back to your face. Yes. The fight begins, and it ends in a flash. You stand there, arms crossed over your chest, watching him. He won't meet your gaze. How the hell is he going to thrive if he can't handle this? You're not even making an effort. Are you trying to tick me off? I wanted you from the moment I saw you, Choso. I don't care what you are. Something inside him snaps. Suddenly, he's kissing you back with hunger that catches you off guard. His hands are awkward, unsure, but you guide them to your butt, pulling him closer. He spawns, drawing you tight, and you moan into the kiss. Aww. You've been waiting for so long. To hug him and kiss him. The sound of your moans come off guard, and for a moment, he forgets the kiss, smooth stuttering. But then you guide him, closing him back into it. When the need becomes too overwhelming, you pull back, panting. Let's continue somewhere more comfortable. Choso stands far away, his figure haze in the distance. You try to call out to him, but the words die in your throat, swallowed by the oppressive silence that surrounds you. Suddenly, Gito's beside you. He's smiling, but there's something sinister in the way his lips curl, in the way the stitches on his forehead seem to wither and pulse as they were alive. Did you say goodbye? Your breath catches in your throat as you see Itadori appear in front of Choso. It happens in an instant. Itadori's fist shoots forward, and with a sickening crunch, it punches straight through Choso's chest. Blood spatters across the ground, dark and crimson, as Choso's eyes go wide with shock and pain. You gasp, the sound strangled and desperate, but no words came out. You want to scream, to cry out to him, but as if your voice has been stolen, trapped in the back of your throat. Gito's hand clamps down on your shoulder, his grip iron strong, keeping you rooted in the spot as Choso's collapse to his knees, his life slipping away with every ragged breath. He's expandable, just like you. You wake up from the start, heart hammering in the chest, breath shaking and uneven. What's wrong? Choso's eyes pull you back to reality. You turn to see him beside you, alive and real. A wave washes over you, and then it was just a nightmare. Gito would never say that to you. Choso awkwardly caresses your arm. He touched tentative, as if unsure how to comfort you. Is it alright? I'm here. You look at him, and for the first time, he's smiling. His smile has a smile, but a smile nevertheless. Without thinking, you hug him, burying your face in the crook of his neck. He freezes for a moment, then slowly wraps his arm around you. Your heart beats in sync, alive and real. You can't let him die. You won't. We need to train harder. He chuckles softly, the sound rumbling in his chest. What brought this all of a sudden? Promise me you're going to do your best. I promise. Choso lies just on the sofa, his body wrapped around hers, the warmth of her skin seeping into him. A strange covering, the closeness. He's still not used to it, the intimacy they share. The soft music in their playlist drifts in the background, a soundtrack to the surreal new reality that he's not alone, where he's no longer confined to a glass container, staring at nothingness. Humans aren't so bad. The words escape him before he can think them through. He said them a few times now, each time with more conviction, trying to convince not just her, but himself. His body tenses slightly. Then she turns her head to look at him. You're just saying that because you're sleeping with me. You're sleeping with one. Just all cuddled up. No. She chuckles, the sound vibrating for him. He cannot help but smile. Even as he gently caresses her skin, his fingers trace the lines of her body. This connection they share, the intimacy they feel, better than anything else, even the pleasure they share, doesn't compare to this. Sometimes he's afraid it's all a dream, that he'll wake up in the glass prison, alone and empty again. I used to think humans were only capable of harm. You said so much when we first met, but he showed me there's still more to them. He pauses, seeing her eyes, searching her eyes for understanding. More to what I am, even if half of it. Her expression so slightly, and he knows something is on her mind. Then she speaks. It's complicated. Her tone is softer, more introspective, and he knows the shift in how she talks about humanity. It's less harsh, less certain. He wonders if he had anything to do with that, if maybe he's showing her a side of humanity she's forgotten or never known. It's not so black and white, but I like to believe, then I want to believe. Humanity isn't inherently bad, nor good. I just had the misfortune of seeing the bad most of my life. He seems to ping in the chest. At her words, sensing how hard it is for her to admit. She spent so long believing one thing, and now she's struggling to see the gray in the world she once thought was only black and white. He holds her closer, hoping that maybe in his arms she can find some peace. At this time, as time passes, his dear eventually falls asleep in his embrace. He used that word to address her once, and she got so frustrated that now he makes the point to use it wherever he can. He touches his little finger to hers, thinking back to the story he heard in a video about there being a red thread of fate that gods tie to people's little finger. It might be tangible, but it never breaks. Would the gods do that to him? Maybe, though he only is half human, is the humanity in his blood enough? He wants to believe it is. In these quiet moments, like with her, and soft in his arms, the burning need for revenge against Anadori, his grip fades, as if the hatred can't quite reach him when she's near. But deep down, he knows he can't abandon his brothers. Can't let go of the promise he made to them. For now, though, he lets himself drift, savoring the peace he brings him, even if he knows it can't last. You don't have to do all editing, but just for YouTube's sake. You stand outside the car, waiting for Guido, and Choso sits inside. You stand outside the car, waiting for Guido, as Choso sits inside, his head slightly bobbing to the rhythm of music. The sewing is tomorrow night, and the weight of it bears down on you like heavy, unwielding force. Earlier today, you visited the metro station to assure the explosives were in place, but your mind was elsewhere, your focus fractured and splittered. The usual precision that guides your every move was absent, replaced by uncharacteristic clumsiness that left your stomach twisted in knots and anxiety. You glanced back at the car, watching Choso. Ingito's grand plan, there's no guarantee of his survival. He doesn't even seem to consider that Choso has a chance against Itadori. But you can't accept that not when you're come to care for him in ways you hadn't anticipated. You wanted him to survive, to have more time with him. There are so many songs you want to share with him, so many new foods to experience together. The thought of losing him and the weight you're not sure you can bear. You could tell him to stay away from Itadori, to defy Gito's orders, but the consequences of such defiance are unmanageable. And Gito, who gave you a purpose when you had none, who pulled you away from the abyss and shaped you into the person you are now, how could you betray him? I see you and Choso are closer than ever. Gito's voice cuts through your thoughts, making you jump. He's suddenly beside you, as if materializing from the shadows. You bow your head slightly, a gesture of respect that feels almost automatic. Sir, we checked the explosives. They're in place. We also have the train schedules. You report the rest of the preparations with the voice that's steady, professional, but there's a tension. Your tone, they can't quite conceal. As you speak, your eyes flicker to the stitches on his forehead, and a memory of your recent nightmare flashes through you, the stitches riveling, pulsing, almost alive. And then Gito smiles, the unease dissipates like mist under the morning sun. He steps closer, placing a hand on your shoulder with gentleness that counteracts with the weight of your worries. Good job. He weight shifts into the car, where Choso waits, and a subtle smile is tugged in the corners of his mouth, amusement dancing in his eyes. Don't go too hard on him. I need him in one piece. The words you want to say, to plead for Choso's safety, to suggest sparing him from the bow of Itadori sticks in your throat, heavy and unspoken. You want to tell Gito how much you've grown to care for Choso, how you don't want to lose him, even if it means diverting from the plan. But you can't, not after everything Gito had done for you, after the loyalty you pledged to him. I'll see you tomorrow night. And with that, Gito turned and walked away, leaving you stranded there, the weight of your unspoken words, looming choices pressing down on you harder than ever. I mean, do it. You watch his fingers recede into the distance, your mind tangent mess of guilt, fear, and deep galling uncertainty about the path you're on. Choso sits in the car, trying to focus on the music playing through the speakers, but his attention is glued to the two figures outside. She's talking with Gito, her posture attentive, her expression soft in a way that stirs something uncomfortable in him, in a mix of warmth and sadness that burns in his chest. He wants her to look at him like that, not with worry or concern, but with pride. Lately, it feels like all she done is fret over his oncoming fight with Itadori, about whether he's strong enough, fast enough, ready enough. He doesn't want her to worry. He wants her to believe in him, to trust that he can handle whatever comes his way. As Gito's hand lands on her shoulder, Choso's body tenses. His breath hitches. The fierce heat surges through him. It's not just the touch that bothers him, it's the way that Gito glances at him from the distance, the intensity of the gaze ignites something primal with him, something he never felt before. He wants to go stabby. When she finally returns to the car, sliding into the seat beside him, Choso can barely contain a storm brewing inside him. Let's spar. She blinks, clearly not taken back by the sudden intensity of his voice. He can see the confusion in her eyes as she studies his expression, trying to make sense of his abrupt urgency. Right now? Yes, let's go. Choso feels anger surge inside him, a fire that only intensifies when he catches her gaze on his body. He yanks off his shirt, his eyes lingering on his bare chest, stroking the heat even more. The fight is fierce, more tense than ever before. Her robes catch him, his sight not forming, and he hears her voice in his mind, soft but commanding, urging him to stay still. He knows if she tries or not, she'll have control over him. The thought of Guido flickers in his mind, and his blood boils with a renewed resolve. He channels all his power, careful not to hurt her. He wouldn't live with himself if he did. His hair comes loose, wild around his face, framing it in dark strands that catch the light. The sunlight screaming through the windows, bathing him in a soft glow, making her look almost infernal, like something out of a dream. She looks, he realized in a flash. You look like an angel. She falters in mid-movement, her eyes widen in surprise. What? Choso feels his body starting to relax, his cursed energy slowly upping away as he allows himself to reminisce about the first time they met. A jealous smile tugs at his lips. When I opened my eyes, the first thing I saw, your face. It was the first thing I saw. I didn't have the words then, but I do now. You're like an angel. Deliver me from darkness. That's so corny. He noticed a subtle shift in her expression, flickering on something she's trying to hide. Her embarrassment, the rare sight that makes his smile widen. I can call you my angel from now on. Stop saying cheesy crap like that. Just focus on the fight. He smirks, feeling a thrill of satisfaction. This must be what she felt every time she teased him, and he finally understands the pleasure of it. I'm not the one who needs to focus. With the calm determination, Choso uses his blood to soak her ropes, then hardens them, keeping them in place. In one shift moment, he straddles her in a fighting move, so his blood-coated hand hovering just over her throat. She freezes, eyes widen in surprise, and slowly raises her hands in surrender. He won. He's won. She's caught off guard. He sees a glow of happiness in her eyes, something that feels like pride. Congratulations, Choso, you won. She licks her lips, look at him through half-lit eyes. Yeah, because my hands are dry. And so what will it be? Countless ideas flow in his mind, but one stands out above the rest. He leans down, his lips brush against her ear, and whispers that he wants to kiss her, and he feels her shiver beneath him. He lay on the mattress in the gym together. Just hugging a chair, cuddling. After everything, a nap had felt like the only escape. But I spent hugging a chair, just hugging a chair. After everything, a nap felt just like the only escape. You slowly drift back to the consciousness. You feel Choso tracing lazy gel patterns on your skin. His touch is moving, but your mind races. Even when Gojo Saratoru is sealed, the world shifts. If Choso isn't there with you, what's the point? Choso? Yes, my angel. That new pet name still sends a flutter through your stomach. You're grown in a playful expression, and he chuckles softly. When the laughter fades into the comforting silence, you take a deep breath and speak again. I need to tell you something. Your voice wavers, but you push forward. You speak for what feels like hours, unraveling the truth you're kept hidden. You tell him about Gito's words, how he sees Choso as expandable, and how you knew all along that his brothers would likely die. Choso listens, his expression unreadable, his silence unmoving. When you finish, the weight of your confession hangs heavily between you. I knew we were just pawns in his game, but I don't blame you. His voice is calm, almost resigned, but there's a depth to it that catches you off guard. You don't think you deserve his forgiveness. I don't feel the urge to kill anyone, but I must still go. Your heart clenches as words. Worry tightens in the grip around you. You take a deep breath, trying to steady yourself, but the fear remains. I'll be alright. He searches for one of your robes, his movements durable and tender. He wraps it around his pinky, then ties her in around yours, binding you together in a way that feels symbolic, almost sacred. We are fated to meet, and I'm sure fate will keep us together. He brings your hand to his lips, pressing a soft kiss to your finger, sealing his promise. Even if it doesn't, I will fight for it. His words are filled with a quiet determination that steadies you, grounding you in the moment. We'll figure it out. You can't hold back any longer. You pull him into a tight embrace, burying your face in the crook of his neck, hoping, praying that what he said is true. Let's go home. The words feel foreign, almost surreal on your tongue, but the way Choso smiles when he hears it makes it feel real. Home. He repeats it, as if testing the weight of it, then nods, a soft smile spreading across his face. Yes, let's go home. The end. Tape comes out of the TV. You grab it. You have a feeling you should give it to someone. Hey, you're back! Come, let's have a talk. You turn to VH Esther. She smiles at you. Thanks, how was it? Hope you enjoyed the tape. Welcome aboard the ship. The Emperor's Conquest. I can't even pronounce her name, even though I absolutely love the games. For these tapes, they allow us to connect to AUs in alternate universe, aka alternate universes. They made it with ingredients that guide our travels, like slow burn embers and kashi caramel. Caramel. I choose the grants. The grants are selected by me and the crew. If you'd like to participate in the creation of the tapes, you can join us. As a crew member, you'll be access to exclusive WIPs, work in progresses, and even have the chance to participate in tape creation. Just talk to Lou, and he'll guide you. That's where you ask the smut gods to bless the tapes. The full blessing version contains a lot more spice. If you want to witness the blessing, head over there and send a player. If you like the smut gods, I'll give you a preview of the full blessing before you decide. You can ask them as well. They're pretty nice, even if you're a bit mischievous at times. Grants, I'm not sure yet. Crew members will meet soon to decide. I believe it might be a grant from Jujutsu Kaisen again, since next month is a special occasion. see. The travel logs will be updated once a decision is made. That's all for now. Sure thing, darling. If you need anything, you know where to find me. Thank you for being on this journey with us. Okay. Never mind. There's Lou. Okay, now if you like my content, please subscribe. If you like my content, subscribe, like the video, comment down below. It'll help a lot, and I'll see you guys next time.